Hey guys, it's Shongo Vampire 13. It's been a while, but I'm finally back, baby! I know I have neglected this channel and it has been inactive for nearly a year at this point, but I swear I did not mean for that to happen, okay? However, if you do want to see more of me, I do have many other social media platforms in the description down below. I am the most active on Instagram if you want to follow me there. However, since it is a new year, I am gonna try harder this time to make content for all of you. With that being said, this video is a little different from my normal content, as a lot of you have probably already noticed by now. I have always wanted to tell stories with my art like a lot of popular YouTubers and animators, but I have decided to try out this format first because I am too lazy to draw many frames for each story, and I simply just don't have enough time for it at this point. But I also do like to try new things with my art and videos, so I figured that this would be easier for me. So before we get into the actual topic of this video, let me explain my situation. So, if you guys are new, welcome. If you're not, hello, welcome back, and let's get on with the video. So, the main reason I have been gone is because I, have a life outside of the internet. I am a 21-year-old college student on her way to getting her AA degree in art new media, hoping to transfer to another college for my bachelor's degree, and I have a job. Hopefully to get another job because my first job is not consistent enough for me to get that green. With that being said, with all of that happening, I haven't had the right motivation to make videos for a while, and I just didn't want to when given the chance, or I would just work on other personal projects. 2024 was a roller coaster for me, but that is a topic for another day. And with that explanation out of the way, let's get into the actual topic of this video. Valentine's Day. Either you love it or you hate it, or if you're someone like me who is somewhat in the middle or just has a love-hate relationship with the holiday. Now, I don't know how many of you guys know this, but I am a hopeless romantic, and I'm single, so you can expect how I may feel on this particular day. Throughout my 21 years of living, I've kind of always felt this way about Valentine's Day because I have never had a special someone to celebrate it with. I was always constantly surrounded by couples who were giving each other gifts and just being all lovey-dovey, and I just had to suffer through it. On one hand, I would be happy for them because, love is love and I love love. But on the other hand, of course it would make me a little envious because, I wish I had my special someone for this fine day. I have dated in the past, but none of my previous partners would stick around long enough for this day, so yeah. Now more than ever, most of my friends and even my younger sister have their respected partners, and I still unfortunately don't. However, I wasn't gonna let that bring me down this time. Kinda. I was gonna make my own fun with moi. I wasn't expecting anything major for Valentine's Day because it's been like that every single year, even though that little hopeless romantic part in me was still hopeful for something, but overall, I wasn't expecting much from anyone. Okay, real quick, I'm gonna be honest, I did have a rough time this Valentine's Day, mainly because I was getting frustrated at my client's puppy who isn't potty trained, and things just didn't seem to work out for me, for my individual plans anyways, but it's okay because me and my family watched Bridget Jones' Mad About the Boy, and I had some chocolates and a buzzball. I know my future partner will come to me soon, and I am in a much better mentality than I was a few years ago. I'm not as desperate as I was before, but man, sometimes I still don't like being single. What can I say? I'm a hopeless romantic, man. I can't help it. It's in my nature. Originally, I was gonna post this on Valentine's Day, thinking I wouldn't have much of a story to tell this year, but I decided against it because I thought, hey, you know what? Even though I'm not expecting anything particular to happen on this day, anything can still happen, so why not just wait and see what happens? It didn't matter to me how big or small a story it would be. Either way, I do have some mini stories to tell that are somewhat related to the subject. So let's begin. The first story happened actually a few days before Valentine's Day. This involves a guy who still to this day likes me. Just in case he happens to stumble upon this video, for the sake of his privacy, I will use a fake name. Since his name starts with an S, I will call him Sam, since that is the first name that came to mind. Let me give you a little bit of a background on him. So I met him a little while ago in one of my classes, and he displayed some interest in me from the get-go since we met. We went out on one date because, one, I don't get to go out on dates very often, and two, sometimes you would go on dates to see how you feel about that person. Now here's the thing. I only saw him as a friend. He does have some qualities that I like in a person and a partner, but I'm just not into him like that. The other thing is the age gap. He is 4 years older than me, and I don't know about you guys, it could be because I'm still young, but age is kind of a big deal to me. 3 years is the maximum. Even if it's just 1 or 2 years added to that, like in this scenario, I physically can't date that person because I just feel too weird about the age gap. I can't do it. But even with or without that factor, I never saw him as anything more. Now, let me also preface with this. I don't think he's a bad person by any means, but I sometimes feel like he doesn't respect my feelings, or when I say I don't like him that way. Every now and then when he checks up on me, he asks how my man search is going because he very well knows that I'm actively looking for a partner, preferably a man, and then would proceed to shoot his shot and ask me out. Despite me telling him a few times that I don't feel the same way and that he and I are never gonna happen. Yes, I can always change my mind, as he would say, but my guy, I'm not changing my mind about this. Please wrap your head around it. At this point, I'm starting to feel uncomfortable. I don't really want to talk to him anymore because it's painfully obvious that he still likes me, and his persistence is just getting really uncomfortable for me. So the next time he asks me how my man search is going and I'm still single at that point, I'm simply just gonna tell him to stop asking me because it makes me uncomfortable. So it was no surprise that he would ask me out for Valentine's Day. As mentioned earlier, it happened before Valentine's Day. I was having a weird evening one day, and I posted a note on my Instagram saying when you want to cry but you also don't. I did end up having a good cry, and I would have a better next day. That morning, 2 of my guy friends, both that have a crush on me, asked if I was okay after seeing my note. I assured them both separately that I was okay. Sam then asked what happened, and I told him, but afterwards said that today's a new day, being optimistic as I normally would like to be. He then asked if I had any plans for Valentine's Day. I told him that I was working that day, but I ultimately planned to have a little self-care for me. I knew where this was going. He asked me if I wanted to go out for dinner that night, but at least still acknowledged that I probably would still say no, but wanted to ask anyway. I said, I appreciate the offer, but yeah, no thank you. But still trying to be polite about it, I knew this was gonna happen. If nothing else, this was the one thing that was expected. Now, before you guys come at me, I am not trying to fault or flame him for his feelings for me, but for God's sakes, it's been, I think, 2 years at this point, and he still tries to pursue me despite knowing that I'm never gonna date him. He just needs to move on. And not to mention, back in August last year, after I turned 21, he asked if the age gap is still a thing with me. Dude, I just turned 1 year older. Of course the age gap is still a thing with me. I'm not changing my mind. It was almost like he was waiting for me to turn 21. I don't know, I just found that a bit weird, like a red flag. The second story involves one of my previous partners, and she is partially the reason for deepening my love-hate relationship with Valentine's Day. And unlike Sam, I am gonna use her real name because she's out of my life and she's dead to me. Why? Because she cheated on me. This happened back in 2020, aka the COVID era, aka the worst year of my generation, where we barely went outside, we had to be at least 6 feet apart from each other, classes were online, and we all simply just went crazy after being cooped up inside all day for multiple days at a time, or weeks even. So her name was Naomi. Ugh, just saying her name out loud after all these years, it feels so weird. She was in my history class, and during one of our Zoom sessions, we just clicked. And we began dating after a short period of time. Now, for context, Naomi is bisexual. She was bullied for the birthmarks on her neck, and she has a religious family. Her mom simply told her that she can't like 2 genders, and she has to like one, which is bullshit if you ask me. Sometimes you can't help to who you're attracted to, you know? But that really explains a lot when I had to pretend to be her straight friend in order for us to play around in her bedroom, because then her mom wouldn't have allowed it any other way. And I was also figuring out my sexuality at the time, but all I knew was that I wasn't exactly straight. Now that I think about it, I think the relationship was also purely based on lust more than love. And before you guys come for me in the comments asking, well, isn't lust and love the same thing? No, they are not. Here's the definition. Anyways, this happened back in November, and when the holidays were coming around in December, I, really wanted to see her, and we tried to make it work, but we just couldn't because, again, COVID. One day, she implied that we should break up, but didn't actually break up with me, so I believed that we were still dating. Let me emphasis on she implied. Fast forward to Valentine's Day week. I was really excited because I thought I finally had someone for Valentine's Day, but boy was I wrong, dear viewers. I was in the middle of one of my classes when I was texting her, trying to make plans with her, and this happened. Yeah. So apparently, we weren't dating anymore, but she just didn't bother to break up properly with me back in December. So yeah, I would call this cheating. God, I got so upset. Mind you, I was still in class when this happened, but thankfully, class was over shortly and it gave me time to properly have my meltdown. One small detail I would oftentimes forget to say whenever I tell the story because I feel like it just doesn't matter. She was drunk when she texted me that. So yeah, underage drinking. A few months later, when we were allowed back on campus, even after that fact, I still tried to be nice to her, but she just didn't seem to care about me anymore or even acknowledge me. So when I noticed that was happening, I decided one day, you know what? F you, goodbye. I didn't actually say that to her, but if I were to say it now, I probably would have said it to her face. I blocked her on everything and never saw her again, not even on campus after that. We did have a conversation later down the line talking about what happened, but still. I understand that she had a bit of a hard life, but that doesn't excuse her actions. Whenever I would bring her up, which is hardly ever because I don't have a reason to, I would refer to her as the that's dead to me because she was a and she cheated on me. So she's dead to me. I don't fuck around with cheaters, okay? If someone cheats on you, cut them out of your life. Once a cheater, always a cheater. Remember that. If she happens to be watching this, I do not care. She's out of my life, so I don't want to end this video on a negative note, so I'm gonna give you guys some advice. For those single, hopeless romantics who are also waiting for the right one to enter into your life, don't worry. You still have a whole life ahead of you, and that person will come to you soon. But having some time for yourself is important. Take care of yourself. Not settling is everything. You don't need to rush, and you don't need to have everything figured out right now. Take your time. Being single gives you time to self-reflect and make you a better you. I know it's hard sometimes, but trust me, it's worth it. Also, don't rely on a relationship to make you happy. Get happy first. A relationship should add to your happiness, not be the cause of it, as told by Swoozy. Thank you, brother. As for those who are or were single for Valentine's Day, make your own fun. Take this time to give yourself some love. Have a spa day, go out, spend time with your loved ones, and just do whatever makes you happy. Or if you need to vent and just let it out, do that too. Let it all go. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate everyone who has stuck around on this channel. It means a lot. And again, I will try harder to put more content on here, okay? If not, you can always check my Instagram. I am the most active on there. Again, thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more videos, and that is it. Love you all. Peace!